and welcome. Tonight, as the world celebrates the International Women's Day, Nigerian women, like their counterparts all over the world, continue to push the frontiers of development by breaking barriers in all spheres of human endeavors. In the spirit of the International Women's Day, women and other stakeholders meet at various platforms to draw attention of the place of women in national development. And wife of President Rotimi Tinubu asks state governors and lawmakers to prescribe capital punishment for kidnappers as a way of ending the menace.
And on business news tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria says overseas remittances hit $1.3 billion in February 2024.
On sports news tonight, the Nigeria Football Federation commences search for new head coach for the Super Eagles following the expiration of Jose Peseiro's contract. From Abuja, the nation's capital, Minister of Education Tahir Maman asked security operatives and the Kaduna State government to rescue all abducted students from Kuriga community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State.
And in international news from London, President Joe Biden has delivered a fiery State of the Union address, taking repeated swipes at Donald Trump and covering the broad themes of his re-election campaign.
Well, let's begin tonight by wishing all the wonderful women around the world happy International Women's Day. As we know, it's International Women's Day, a day set aside to bring to the fore issues and challenges surrounding the female gender. The day also aims to recognize the remarkable contributions of women who have broken barriers, demonstrated leadership, and made a significant impact in their respective fields. And that's exactly what we're doing tonight. The United Nations has designated the theme for this year as Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress with Focus on Addressing Economic Disempowerment. Our next report takes a look at how the women folk is faring in the face of challenges confronting them.
Women represent 49.7% of global population, and that's according to a 2023 data released by the United Nations. In the workplace alignments, for the 9th consecutive year, women face the biggest hurdle at the first critical step up to managerial positions. A report by McKinsey & Company titled Women in the Workplace 2023 says for every 100 men promoted for entry level to manager, 87 women were promoted. Despite what can be described as an unfavorable statistics, women all over the world have continued to push the envelope, breaking barriers, advancing in tech space, in governance, politics, and other areas of human endeavor. It's even more captured in this year's International Women's Day celebration with the theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Invest in Women in the eyes of the International Labour Organization says, from an economic perspective, reducing gender gaps in labor force participation could substantially boost global GDP.
At the WTO, we have found that women who trade externally as compared to domestically earn 3 times more. That is why we are working hard to integrate more women into the global trading system so that we can help positively change their lives, that of their families and the world.
Work-family balance, eliminating discrimination, tackling occupational segregation, and equal pay are some forms of bridging the gap which can be recorded as gains.
We need to see more women in decision-making in good sectors and ministries that can perform. Women deliver.
But there's still a lot more to achieve, from the ability of women to make decisions on sexual and reproductive health, boosting the financial status of women across low and medium-income countries, reduction or outright eradication of sexual violence and having 50% of women in parliament across the world, The good news is that women have not stopped pushing, and it will be sooner rather than later that these goals are achieved.
What do women really want? Well, it has become a cliche question when issues of equitable representation for women are being discussed. And on the occasion of this year's International Women's Day, we answer that question and we seek to answer it. For veteran broadcaster Bimbo Oloyede, beyond what women want, the focus should be what women want to be. Transformational coach Debola Deji Kurumi also recounts the limitations women are facing and what they have faced in the past, especially in an African patriarchal society, while the chief executive officer of the Pancake Hub, Adaobi Alexuni, encourages young females to take advantage of the positive aspect of the internet to empower themselves. The women are speaking, they spoke today on our breakfast program, The Morning Brief.
The National Women's Day could really, give us a chance to pay homage to the heroines of history. There are opportunities that are bound, but they are grabbed by men because at certain points in the life of a woman, she's actually not physically, if not mentally, physically, she's not available to do the job that she's expected to do. So it is possible that at those times, maybe decisions are being made. So she's not there to defend herself, even if her job speaks for her. There are times when you've also got to show up. I think a woman wants to be recognized as a mother at times, because you can't be a mother all the time. A wife at times, because you cannot be a wife all the time. A girlfriend at times, even if she's married, because she cannot be a wife all the time, or she should not be a wife all the time. A wife should sometimes be a girlfriend too.
We're also excited about the really younger women who are in the Gen Z zone, who are just boundless because we treat them as natives of possibilities. Mm-hmm. What that means is they have been born into a world order where anything is possible and your talent is bankable. Those things are powerful. And they've taken away some of the barriers that stood in the way of women to access opportunities, access markets, access financial, resources. Now, some of the things that we thought were created by a patriarchal society were not necessarily created by a patriarchal society. They were just created by the limitations of economies, the limitations of markets, especially if you are a woman of African descent.
It's a beautiful thing that the internet is showing us so much, but at the same time, it's also going to be our doom if we don't take time, because people go way overboard. Because you think when you're in that space, you're invincible. So you can do anything you like, say anything you like, and think it has no consequences. But when they come back to haunt you, you either in 1 second bring down everything you've built. So for me, I would say that it is important to be cultured.
And still on the International Women's Day, the Bank of Industry today organized a one-day conference to mark the day. The conference focuses on the woman, her challenges, and how she can be inspired to reaching her full potential.
It's the Bank of Industry's International Women's Day conference, and women from all walks of life are gathered here. Beyond providing soft landing for businesses through financial support, the Bank of Industry has put this conference together to celebrate the women folk in Nigeria. Declaring the conference open, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Olashupo Olusi, represented by the Executive Director of Micro Enterprise, Mabel Ndagi, said BOI's activities are in line with the federal government's agenda aimed at empowering women.
BOI holistically so that you can be effective in your business.
This year's International Women's Day, with the theme Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, is apt as it once again highlights the importance of female participation in leadership. With the Bank of Industry's continued support for women businesses across Nigeria, more from the female folk will be inspired to take their place in the society.
The Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, NAWA, has lent their voices to the call for gender equality and inclusion of women in governance. Speaking at the symposium to mark the day at the Army's headquarters, Command Officers' Mess in Abuja, the national president of the association, Mrs. Maria Lagwaja, stressed that the call for equality for women is not a competition against men, but an advocacy for a fair and just society.
Wives of military officers under the umbrella of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, NAOA, and members of sister agencies converge at the Army Headquarters Command Officers' Mess in Abuja to awaken the consciousness to the state of gender equality and inclusion to mark the International Women's Day. The wife of the Chief of Defense Staff arrives at the venue amidst cheers as she was received by the wife of the Chief of Army Staff, Mrs. Maria Lagwaja. The procession then terminates at the Army Headquarters Command for the symposium, where issues of inclusion and gender equality is considered.
International Women's Day Symposium in commemoration of the year 2024 International Women's Day. Every year on the 8th of March, the global community comes together to mark International Women's Day, a day set apart to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women worldwide, as well as to raise awareness about the issues of gender equality.
The idea of the celebration is to raise awareness on the challenges of inclusion and the solution.
It is requiring for women to step up to the game. Inclusion is the integration of women or anyone into an organization, into a process, into a system.
The panel discussion looked at the limited access to opportunities for women.
Let's just love each other, support each other. When anybody comes with their problem and discuss, this is what I face and this is what, try to, if you don't have anything to contribute, please give her nice words.
We need to consider appealing for more support from the society by inspiring our family members and colleagues to our noble cause.
The submission here is that gender balancing would harness the inherent potential in women.
In part two, after the break, wife of the president, Rotimi Tinubu, asks state governors and lawmakers to prescribe capital punishment for kidnappers as a way of ending the menace. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. As the world celebrates the International Women's Day, Nigerian women, like their counterparts all over the world, continue to push the frontiers of development by breaking barriers in all spheres of human endeavors. In the spirit of the International Women's Day, women and other stakeholders meet at various platforms to draw attention to the place of women in national development. Wife of the president, Rotimi Tinubu, asks state governors and lawmakers to prescribe capital punishment for kidnappers as a way of ending the menace. And President Joe Biden delivered a fiery State of the Union address on Thursday, taking repeated swipes at Donald Trump and covering the broad themes of his re-election campaign. Following the kidnapping of over 200 students and teachers in Kaduna State, the wife of the president, Senator Rotimi Tinubu, is calling for capital punishment for kidnappers. Speaking after the meeting with national women leaders of the All Progressives Congress in her office in the State House in Abuja, Senator Tinubu called on state governors and the legislators to take concrete steps and put an end to this menace. The First Lady also celebrated the International Women's Day with the women.
Whoever is kidnapping young people is sick, cruel, and a coward. Enough is enough, And I call on the state governors that once we take hold of them, they deserve capital punishment. Why are they torturing our children? What they are doing is trying to kill our future. We all know parents, when we are old, we rely on our children, and we see them that our investment has not gone to waste, especially when they are successful. Why would you go and take them from schools? Why? I don't really know. But right now, I think enough is enough. As a former lawmaker, I believe that any one of them captured deserve capital punishment. Yes. I say it, and I believe most mothers would believe that. Yes. We carry them for 9 months. When you are giving birth, you don't know whether you are going to live or die. Yes. And you don't watch what you love being snuffed away. So they are animals, they are evil, and then we should take them out among our midst, wherever they come from. And the state governors should do something, and the lawmakers, especially the lawmakers of each state. Happy International Women's Day to women, because we deserved a pat on the back. We do so much. I celebrate every Nigerian woman and girl.
We have more on the news at 10 for you, and we head over to our Abuja studios now, where Malkwe Ogun-Yusuf is standing by to give us more. Hello, Malkwe, and happy International Women's Day to you.
I wish you the same, Anne, and all women out there, young and old, contributing their quota to our development. We're starting off with a charge from the federal government, which is urging security agencies and the Kaduna State government to ensure that the 287 students and principal abducted on Thursday in Kaduna State are rescued immediately. Addressing the news conference in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, says security agencies must do everything within their powers, not only to rescue the victims, but also ensure that they're brought back unhurt. The minister also called for the safe and unconditional release of the abductees, describing the attack as barbaric and heinous.
It's a very sad day for the country, and we appeal to the security agencies to do everything possible, including the government of Kaduna State, to do everything possible to rescue and bring back these young ones and their teachers unharmed, and all of them. This is our appeal. And we also want to say that we will be working with the security agencies to ensure that we will bring to end this type of thing under the Safe Schools project of the federal government. So as we are approaching, we sincerely hope even that these young ones are brought back even before the Ramadan season starts. Our brothers and sisters are already observing the Lent, so we keep everybody, commit them to prayers to the Almighty to protect them and bring them back safely home.
In other news now, Nigerians have been urged to embrace unity and promote peaceful coexistence among one another, regardless of their differences. This was emphasized by speakers at the official commissioning and launch of the Sheikh Tahir Islamic Center in Bauchi State.
Dignitaries and special guests from far and wide gather to witness the inauguration of the Sheikh Tahir Islamic Center, the first of its kind in Bauchi State, which houses a mosque, a school, a conference hall, a tomb, a residential area, among other structures. The center is built in honor of Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi, a renowned scholar of Islam and one of the leaders of the Tijaniya Sufi order. Imam of the National Mosque, Professor Ibrahim Makari, delivers his speech in Hausa, highlighting the immeasurable rewards of building a mosque for the sake of Allah. Goodwill messages are presented in Arabic on behalf of delegations from Egypt, Senegal, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and England. These ambassadors appreciate the efforts of the Winti Al-Khair Foundation for constructing this magnificent center, which provides an avenue for worship and knowledge acquisition. The Al-Khair Foundation receives recognition with an award of excellence at the event. A renowned Islamic scholar, Sheikh Mustafa Briggs, who traveled all the way from London, delivers a scholarly message during this ceremony.
If we look at the age of Maulana Sheikh Tahir Bauchi, and if we look at the life that he has lived, which is a life that is dedicated to the learning and the teaching of the Quran, to the guidance of millions of people across the continent of Africa and by extension across the world. And now, alhamdulillah, with the founding of this Islamic center here in his home state of Bauchi, we can see then that this is somebody who has lived up to this saying of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
The chief host of the event, Governor Bala Muhammad, is represented by his deputy. In his speech, he emphasizes the importance of unity for the country.
Unity is the cornerstone upon which any commitment or community thrives, and the Muslim Ummah is no exception. Our faith teaches us the importance of unity and emphasizes the need to come together regardless of our differences.
Shortly after, Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi, a nonagenarian, is accompanied into the mosque area as Dr. Bashir Dahiru Bauchi delivers the Friday sermon, followed by the inaugural Friday prayer.
Away from that now, the troops of Joint Task Force Southeast Operation Udoka has raided and destroyed the headquarters and the command and control center of the proscribed group, the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed affiliates, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, located around Osu and Ihiala local government areas of Imo and Anambra states. During a visit to the area after the operation, the General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army and the Force Commander Joint Task Force Southeast Operation Udoka, Major General Hassan Taiwo Dada, says the operation, which lasted 1 month, has brought back peace and tranquility to the area.
We have started coming back, so our immediate objective or mission now is to ensure that these people can go about their social economic activities as soon as possible. No way you can conduct such an operation that you will not arrest one or two, either being commanders, members, or collaborators or informants. We process those people that have been arrested, and of course, they will be made to face the law, and we also will use them as appropriate in conduct of our official operations. And that's why, once again, we want to thank all Indi, Imo, and India Anambra that have continued to support us in this our mission, and particularly the government of Imo State.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the Crude Oil Theft and Management Committee of the National Economic Council and governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, is assuring Nigerians that cases of crude oil theft are being addressed with a view to ending the menace. Addressing journalists shortly after a meeting of the committee in Abuja, Governor Uzodimma says he and his team are working on a blueprint that will increase crude oil production in the country in order to improve the economy.
We are working very hard to ensure that we don't disappoint your expectations. At the end of the day, I told you we will come out with a solution to the problem. The solution is that crude oil theft will stop. Our oil production will increase. Our naira will be stronger. And Nigeria will be better off for it. In the next National Economic Council, we will submit an interim report and we'll take it from there. Virtually, most of the critical stakeholders have had conversations with us, ranging from Federal Ministry of Finance, Central Bank of Nigeria, NUPRC, and other critical stakeholders, Ministry of Trade and Investments, and some oil-producing companies. But it's still work in progress. We're still talking. We will engage more stakeholders.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Central Bank of Nigeria says overseas remittances hit $1.3 billion in February 2024. That's for business news. Do join us again.
Welcome back. The federal government will not allow variation arising from delays by contractors once the mobilization is done. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, said this while handing over the first phase of the 700-kilometer coastal road project recently awarded by the federal government. The minister also took time to inspect other projects, including the Third Mainland, Carter, and Ido bridges. Our correspondent Chris Illems reports.
It's a busy day for the Minister of Works, David Umahi, with his team as he visits various project sites in Lagos.
Where are we? This is the car park.
Firstly, is the 700 kilometers Lagos-Calabar coastal road project, proposed to span 9 states of the Federation.
Is that correct?
He has come to formally hand over the first phase of 47.47 kilometers to the contractor, High-Tech Construction Company Limited, but he also leaves a note of caution.
Will we not pay variation for any delayed project? Well, we have to say that for the sake of saying that, because High-Tech is noted for performance, is noted for beating time. The time for this Section 1 is 36 months. It is going to run concurrent with the Section 2 and Section 3. But right now, I'm handing over Section 1 to High-Tech Construction Nigeria Limited for them to start work. Now we commend the Lagos State government. A section of the gazetted route has been made free for us. And so the governor is doing a lot to encourage this project.
He visits other maintenance and repair sites, including Queen's Drive, Ido and Carter bridges, as well as the Third Mainland Bridge, where critical work are ongoing at the pier and deck of the bridge. The minister assures that by the end of March, they would have concluded the asphalt milling and the re-asphalting of the road. But there are other commitments.
We are reinstating the guardrails. We are replacing the light with solar light. We are going to put some decorative lights too. And then we are going to put CCTV both on top and under the bridge to checkmate security and illegal mining of sand, which is causing scouring on the piles and the pile beds.
With attention also shifting to the long bridge at the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, road users would expect that their comfort and security are taken into consideration. Chris Illems, Channels Television News.
In a bid to boost startup capital and increase resources at the disposal of aspiring young entrepreneurs in Nigeria, one of the leading retail lenders, Unity Bank PLC, has increased the prize money for winners of its flagship entrepreneurship development initiative, the Co-preneurship Challenge, to 16 million naira per stream. Participants who emerge winners in the business pitch are now rewarded with 800,000 naira, 500,000 naira, and 300,000 naira as business grants for the first, second, and third positions.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
So we have
members of the National Youth Service Corps at the NYSC camp in Iseloku, the venue for the Unity Bank Entrepreneurship Challenge in Delta State. They are set to watch their colleagues pitch their business ideas for the Entrepreneurship Challenge, a business plan pitching competition for corps members. 10 of them are selected for the grand finale, and one after the other that take the stage to pitch their business ideas in various fields.
I can produce about 100 units of 25 kg starter.
The legal status of my business, I will make sure that my business is registered with CAC.
I will be producing a wide range of shoes. In the sense that there's no how you will come into my showroom, that you will not see the kind of shoe you are looking for or the kind of belt or bag that you are looking for.
The pitches are over and winners are announced, with Folorunsho Kolade, who pitched a poultry farming business plan, emerging as the overall winner to claim the 800,000 Naira grand prize. Samuel Ayodotu, with an innovative footwear venture idea, takes the second spot, winning 500,000 Naira cash prize, while another corps member, Udochi Chibuike, with a plan on the footwear fashion value chain, emerges the second runner-up to claim the 300,000 Naira grant.
I say thank you to the Unity Bank, to every brain that is behind this. This is actually wonderful and very inspiring. I tell you, I'm going to use this money, so, I'm going to use it so much to improve myself.
According to the bank's management, increasing the prize money is in line with the current economic realities and the growing profile of the Entrepreneurship Challenge.
We believe that what we're giving out will help cushion the effect and also will be an addition to perhaps what they've been able to gather before now, to start or to continue to run their businesses.
The whole idea is to actually take the ideas of the young ones, the youth, so that we'll be able to bring them up to speed and encourage them to do businesses on their own.
So far, Unity Bank has invested over 120 million Naira in the initiative, which has now produced well over 360 winners since it was launched in 2019. The Entrepreneurship Challenge has been replicated in other states, such as Rivers, Lagos, and the FCT, attracting over 4,000 applicants in every edition.
AfriInvest West Africa Limited has opened its office in Kano State, northwest Nigeria. The financial company, which has been in existence for 29 years, is expanding its wings to provide investment banking, security trading, asset management, consulting, and financial technology to the business community in Kano State. The financial company, which already has offices in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, notes that the Kano market will boost investment opportunities for the residents.
It was the colorful event at the grand opening of AfriInvest West Africa Limited office in the commercial city of Kano.
It's a great pleasure for all of us to be here for this important event and to start with the catching of the tape in the name of Allah, the beneficial of us.
The company, which has been in existence for 29 years with offices in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, believes the office in the commercial hub of northern Nigeria will boost the presence of the nation's stock markets in the region.
Today, you know that many people keep their savings in a bank account. But if you have an account with Optimus by AfriInvest, your savings can be earning you 17% per annum. I'm sure most people don't know about it. But Optimus is an app that manages to mirror whatever interest rate the federal government is offering. They can pass it on as much as possible to the ordinary individual.
The company, which started operations in 1995, is focused on simplifying investment and creating wealth. The company is active in 6 principal areas, including investment banking, securities trading, asset management, trust services, consultancy, and technology.
I congratulate you for choosing Kano out of many parameters to locate your company, and we are assuring you that the state government will give every support to ensure that your good intention is reciprocated.
Yeah, Afrinvest is a very big player in the Nigerian capital market space, and they have offices around Nigeria. And Kano here, I feel, is a very welcome opportunity for the Kano people. Yes, we can.
The company prides itself as the leading wealth advisory firm in the country, and the management is hoping that this step will open a new vista of opportunities for investors in Kano and its environment.
Well, let's bring you more from the International Women's Day celebration. Leading financial institution Wema Bank commemorated the event in grand style with the announcement of 5 winners of its She Empowers Her Award by Sarah, the bank's women-focused proposition. The diverse audience touched on several issues, including women empowerment, reaching career goals, and closing the gender gap in the workplace.
The venue of this year's International Women's Day celebration, organized by leading indigenous financial institution Wema Bank, is filled to capacity with mostly women from the corporate world. It's an opportunity for the women to network and showcase their businesses.
Conversations that we as women.
At the panel session, the speakers discussed issues relating to women's significant socio-economic contribution to the global community. They also touched on bridging the gender equality gap while reflecting on women's achievements within the society.
We have developed the Healthcare Women's Forum, which actually deals with not just women.
Popular talking drummer Ara was on hand to add some spice to the event, to the admiration of the guests. After a rigorous selection process, Wema Bank announces the top 5 women from its initial 85 for its She Empowers Her Award by Sarah. The bank's proposition is designed to provide support for women from all walks of life to maximize their businesses and personal potentials.
Can we please specially celebrate these wonderful women?
And what are the takeaways for the bank's chairman and managing director from this year's celebration?
This is just one of the events we do. We have a lot of products for women. There's a proposition we have specifically for women called Sarah for Women. And in that proposition, you have a lot of products, you have a lot of mentoring for women businesses in Nigeria. So it's extremely important that we put our money where our mouth is. Quite a number of businesses we also curate and we finance are also for women. But it's not just giving them financing, it's making sure that those businesses are successful and they're able to have societal impact.
There's a lot of things that we have packaged into the program of today to celebrate women. As today is the International Women's Day, Wema Bank has prioritized women. This is why we have gone all out to do what we have done here today. And wherever you go, either on our Alert business, on the Wema Bank, online, wherever, you can find your space on Sarah by Wema. The She Empowers Her is just one of the ways Wema Bank continues to pioneer solutions that positively transform lives and support businesses across the country.
Meanwhile, former lawmaker Nnenna Okeje has called for more empowerment of Nigerian women in order to showcase their ingenuity. She made the call while speaking on our political program Politics Today. According to her, Nigerian women will rather fend for themselves as properly empowered than wait for handouts.
We speak about welfare for women, but then I think that women would require just certain things. Security is one of them. You know, because subsistence farming is really carried out by women. You know, I think that if there was security and women could farm, a lot of women don't want handouts. I don't know, but I don't think that a lot of women want handouts. I think women want the government to create a secure environment for us to be able to go to the farms. I think that education, is also imperative, because with the lack of education, you can dream but so far. I think, those are the things that women want. I also think that more appointive positions, because that is within the purview of government. I mean, there's the gender statement. I don't remember what that document is called, but it is there, and I think the government can adhere to it, that when it comes to appointive positions, that government should take responsibility and take advantage of the appointive positions, leave the elective positions to the people, and then, probably come up, help people understand. But as far as appointive positions are concerned, I think the government should take advantage of that and push more deserving women forward. In the words of Madeleine Albright, I'll quote her, and it's one of my favorite quotes. She says, and she says it all over again, that the world can take enough mediocre men, but not mediocre women. So I think that, the government, I think, should push deserving women, because what happens is that when deserving women are not pushed, eventually, and I know that our forebears saw that, because they realized that when women did so well in the public space, it wasn't those women that took it, or if they didn't do so well, the people did not say, oh, look, Yvonne hasn't done well, or Ifeoma hasn't done well, or Kemi hasn't done well. They say women have not done well.
Well, Ibong is standing by to take us through the world of business. Hello, Will. Happy International Women's Day to you.
Thank you, and there's definitely still business on International Women's Day. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has reported a significant increase in foreign exchange inflow into the economy in February 2024, with marked increments in remittance payments by Nigerians overseas and purchases of Naira assets by foreign portfolio investors. In a statement shared with newsmen, the bank's acting director of corporate communications, Mrs. Akama Sidi Ali, says the bank's data indicates that overseas remittances rose to $1.3 billion in February 2024, more than 4 times the $300 million received in January. She says higher FX inflows continued in March 2024, driven by increased investor interest in short-term sovereign debt following the recent adjustment to benchmark interest rates. She noted that government securities issuances have been significantly oversubscribed, with foreign investors accounting for over 75% of bids received at the auctions conducted on March the 1st and 6th this year. And the domestic equities markets ended the final trading session of the week in the green as the all-share index rose nearly 1%. John Mekwa tells us more.
The first full trading week in March is a positive one, because today again the all-share index gained almost 1%, 0.99%. And yes, we have gone beyond 100,000 now to 100,001, 330.85 for the L-share index, and crossed over for the market cap to 57 trillion naira, a very profitable for the second day in a row. These two majors have moved the market. When we look at the gainers counter, MTN, which opened at 201 naira 30 kobo, closed at 221 naira 40 kobo. That's up 9.99%. Dangote Sugar was also positive yesterday. It opened at 50 naira to close at 55 naira 65 kobo. Another 9.98% added to that. These are the major movers. We also have NASCON also, but this is at the strong ones. On the flip side, there's always the flip side for the losers. We have FTN Cocoa, CI Leasing, as well as Guinness losing some money right there, because there's always a flip side to it. But in summary, it's been a great week for the NGX, a recovery that has been sustained all through the week, and thanks to the bull.
That's it on Business News. It's back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank Thank you, Will. Former President of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, has been found guilty of drug trafficking by a federal high court in the United States after 2 days of deliberations. Here's Simon Puse with other international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. President Joe Biden has delivered a fiery State of the Union address, taking repeated swipes at Donald Trump and covering the broad themes of his re-election campaign. Mr. Biden used the term "my predecessor" to refer to Mr. Trump 13 times in a speech that lasted more than an hour. He accused his likely election opponent of bowing down to Russia and criticized him over the Capitol riot.
Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
The atmosphere in the House chamber was raucous at times, with loud cheering from Democrats and heckling from some Republicans.
If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again.
Mr. Biden also covered immigration, abortion, the economy, and Gaza.
No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day.
The U.S. military will construct a port in Gaza to get more humanitarian aid into the territory by sea. That's according to Joe Biden. The temporary port will increase the amount of humanitarian assistance to Palestinians by hundreds of additional truckloads per day. Mr. Biden added that no U.S. troops would land in Gaza. The U.K. said it would work with the U.S. to set up a sea corridor. The UN warns that a quarter of the population is on the brink of famine. Victims' families have expressed their outrage after a report cleared police of wrongdoing over the deadly 2022 mass school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Independent investigator Jesse Prado said the police officers had acted in good faith, contrary to earlier findings criticizing the slow response. Gunman Salvador Ramos, an ex-student, killed 19 pupils and 2 teachers. The 24th of May 2022 attack was one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. Mr. Prado's presentation triggered a furious response by some of the victims' families.
You said that it was best, that there was no way to go in. It was for their safety. It was not for the safety of children. How dare you? There's no policy change will eliminate their fear and their hesitation to do what is right in the positions they serve. And for that, they should be terminated.
I do believe that this is going to cause more confusion. I believe that it's going to cause more division. I believe it's going to cause more hateful rhetoric. What just happened right there is he re-traumatized everyone that was involved. This press conference just re-traumatized everyone. What I took away from this is Uvalde, the city of Uvalde and Uvalde Police Department saying, hey, wasn't our responsibility. That was the responsibility of Uvalde Consolidated ISD. You know, our officers didn't violate policy.
Hong Kong is set to pass its own version of the Beijing-imposed national security law, which has raised fears civil liberties will be further eroded. A full draft of Article 23, which covers treason, sedition and state secrets, was tabled on Friday. The city's leader, John Lee, called for it to be passed at full speed. Beijing and Hong Kong both credit the security law with helping to restore stability in the city after widespread pro-democracy protests in 2019. It is believed that more than 100 people have been arrested under the 2020 Beijing-imposed law, which made it easier to prosecute protesters and reduce the city's autonomy. Media tycoon Rupert Murdoch has become engaged to his girlfriend. The 92-year-old has reportedly been dating retired Russian molecular biologist Elena Zhukova for several months. The marriage, which is expected to take place at his Moraga vineyard and estate in California this year, will be Mr. Murdoch's 5th, but his 6th engagement. And a Tokyo-bound Boeing 777 was diverted to Los Angeles after one of its tires blew off moments after takeoff. Video shows one of the tires from the plane's main landing gear falling off seconds after the flight took off from San Francisco Airport on Thursday. It later made a safe emergency landing. No one was injured. Debris landed in an airport staff car park where at least one car appeared to have been damaged. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Happy International Women's Day. Welcome to Sports News. The Falconets have kicked off their title defense in the women's football event of the African Games on a winning note. The national under-20 women's team, who clinched gold in 2019 in Rabat, Egypt, beat Morocco 2-0 in their opening Group B clash in Accra, Ghana, to give the ladies something to cheer about on International Women's Day. The girls will face Senegal on Monday in their second Group B game. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Football Federation has begun the hunt for a new head coach for the men's senior national team, the Super Eagles, to replace Jose Peseiro ahead of the crucial World Cup qualifiers in June. Peseiro stepped down after leading the country to the final of the Africa Cup of Nations last month, where they lost 2-1 to host Cote d'Ivoire. The 63-year-old Portuguese met the target of reaching the semi-finals. That's sports news tonight. Back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Joke. And the main news again. Today, the world has been celebrating the International Women's Day, which seeks to recognize the remarkable contributions of women who have broken barriers, demonstrated leadership, and made a significant impact in their respective fields. And that's news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching.